Hey, I'm going to do a quick tutorial here for you to get you started with the Projectile Ball lab and also show you a new, better way to find velocity data once you have position data. I showed you that little spreadsheet way of doing it, and you can do that, that's fine. But I have since learned that graphical analysis has a built-in feature that will make it a little easier for you. So I'm going to show you how to do that too. So I went to Pivot here. This is the Projectile Ball lab. And this is the video here. And it's a pretty cool video. It's got like 3 different views of the ball. And you can see here's this young woman throwing this ball. And then we have a front view where you just are looking at it kind of head on. So really you can only see the vertical motion of the ball here. So if you want to focus here for a sec, I'll play it again. Here it says up and down, and we know it's coming toward us, but we can't really see that here. And then here's the overhead view from a drone, and you can see only the horizontal motion, right? Only see that back. Can't tell how high it is from that. So I'm going to collect some position time data. So here's my little measuring device here. This is in meters, so that's good. That's what we like. And I want to get this lined up so that my 0 position is like right when it's coming out of her hands. I don't want to collect any data when it's in her hands. So let's see. It comes out right about, I'd say either one of those frames is pretty good to start at. I think I'll take that one. And that's, I got lucky there. It lined up pretty good. So I'm measuring from right at the front of the ball there. Okay, so I'm going to go over to Graphical Analysis. Got that open. I'm going to do some manual entry here. And this will be column options to do time first. I'm going to measure time in seconds. And then I'm going to have my position, but I want to be clear here about this is like the horizontal position. I don't want to say just position because I think that's not specific enough. And horizontal, we measure that. We should call that like the X direction. So I'm going to say like X position. This is it's moving back and forth rather than moving up and down position. My units will be meters. All right, that looks good. Let's go back to, maybe I can move this over a little bit so I can back and forth easily between those. Okay, I need my little stopwatch thingy. Oh, am I gonna have to move this out of the way first? I guess I am. Get my stopwatch, move that back into position. And so that's going to be my 0 time right here. So the first thing that I have is 0, 0. And I'm not sure how much I want to advance it by, but I want to have probably about like 10 data points. So as it goes across here, I don't want to collect any data after it hits the ground. So let's see, if I go all the way to there, that's about 1.2. So I think if I did every like 0.1 seconds, that should give me a nice data set there. So I'm going to go back to my 0 time. There we go. There's my 0, 0. And my second one, so I'm going to go up to 0.1. You don't have to do exactly that for your data set, but that's what I'm going to use. So 0.1. Oh, nailed it. Okay, and I'm measuring from the front of the ball. So that looks like I'm at, this would be 0.5, that'd be 0.6. This looks like 0.6 and a half. So 0.65, I'm going to call that. That's 0.1. My position is 0.65. And then go to the next time that I'm going to use. It'd be 0.2. That looks like 1.123 is where the front of the ball is, 1.3. one more point. I'm not going to do the whole thing for you. And up to 0.3. That looks like it's right at 2 meters right there. 2.0. All that. Okay. So I've got 4 points to start with. And now I would also like to have velocity data here. So go in here, column options. I want to add, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to add a manual column. And I'm going to call this one X velocity, like horizontal velocity. You could say horizontal here instead of X. I'm just saying X for short. And that'll be in meters per second. And how am I going to find those? So this is the new trick that I've learned. If you turn on this tangent, I clicked on the little graph icon here. I'm going to turn this tangent thing on and go back to my graph. And then if I click on any one of the points, it tells me what the slope is at that point. And that's pretty cool. Now, how is it doing that? It's doing it in exactly the same way that we set up the spreadsheet method. So I want you to do the same things with the spreadsheet, which is don't use your endpoints. Whatever your very first point is and your very last point, you're going to have more than me here. Don't use those. Just use the internal ones. And the nice thing about this, it shows you the slope right here, and it also highlights where you are in your data table, right? That this is the slope for time 0.1. So I'm going to look at this number, 6.58. And I'm going to go over to my table and type that in, 6.58. And then I'm going to go to my next point here. I'm going to highlight that for me. And it's going to tell me the slope there is 6.71. 6.71. And then you're going to do that for the whole table. All right. And I am just going to show you also real quick that instead of making a whole new data set for the vertical stuff, I'm going to use the same times. So I'm just going to make another add manual column. This one's going to be called Y position. And that'll also be measured in meters. And then I can go back over to my graph here, go back. You could actually collect the data at the same time because you can put another little measuring thing. Let's see, so that's my 0 time, and I want to line this up. I'll do the same thing, measure from here, the top of the ball. I'll get my numbers in there. And there's the top of the ball at position 0. So type in a 0 there, and go ahead and go to time 0.1. And it looks like the top of the ball is at, what is that, at 0.5? Pretty dang close to 0.5. So I'm going with that. And 0.2. That looks like, it looks like close to 0.9, but I don't know. It looks like a little short of that. Maybe about 0.87. We do our best here, right? Estimate these things in the graph. And 0.3, that looks like it's right about at 1.2. I'm happy about that. 1.2. Whoops. In that box first. 1.2. Okay. And then I'm going to add one more. This will be the last column that I add. Not that. That's not how you do it. You go to add manual column. And this last one is going to be Y velocity. This is like the up-down velocity. And that's going to be in meters per second. And I'm going to use the same trick. that I used and the x velocity. So now the first thing I need to do here is I need to make sure that I'm looking at the right thing. So if I want to find the y velocities, I need to look at here, y position. And I want to turn this off. So I got this to open up by clicking right there on this box. So y position, I've got that now right here. And I think I still have that tangent thing turned on. I do. So that means I can click right on this point and it gives me the slope of the tangent line there. I'm not going to click on the first one because I'm not going to use the very first and very last points. So here's my slope. It shows me where I am in the table, 4.17 meters per second. Next one, 3.75 meters per second, and so on. And then when you get all of that done and you want your 4 different graphs, we would like to have titles on these graphs before you take the screen snips and put them into your document. Now, you can, in the graph options, which is hidden, there it is, graph options, you can just change the title each time. You can change those to zeros if you want. I don't think I would want that to be my graph. If you, like once you see more of this and you think you know what kind of shape it is, you might have your curve fit in there. And then here, edit graph options, going to put a title. This one, for example, would be y position versus time. Title on there. In your document, I guess. I think that that's all I need to tell you. The point of this this lab here is to try to figure out what is going on with the horizontal motion or the X motion of this ball and what's going on with the vertical motion. When we start working with this and analyzing and doing projectile motion problems, it is going to make sense for us because of what's going on here to separate those two things and almost treat it like 2 separate problems within the same problem. All right, so that should put you in good shape to do the projectile ball lab. Have a great day.